Hi everyone. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can create flowcharts such as this one using an online platform tool. All right, so let's get started. So the tool is called Drawio. It's free. So we have the online version and the offline version. So this is the home page. So visit this page first. So once you are here, if you're going to use the online version, once you are here, okay, I'll leave the link to this page in the description box, by the way. I put the link to this page is in the description box. So once you are here, you click on start now, or you can also use this. I will use this one here. I click on start now and it will open a new environment for me to start my work. So once this finishes loading, you will have this window asking you what you want to do. So we are going to click the create new diagram. All right. If you have an existing diagram too, then sure, the open existing one is there. But if you are creating a new one, then you click on create new and then you'll be asked the name. All right. So you have to decide what name you want to give it. All right. You can also choose blank and then by default, it will give you a blank image that you can start, or let's say a blank environment or a blank form that you start using with. So by default, that's what it gets anyway. Okay, that's what it creates for you. So I'll give it a name, let's say new, and then I'll click on create. So once you click on create, that's what you have, a blank form, and then you start. So to create your workflows, you should already have your design, and on the left hand side, you have the shapes that you have to use. So there's general, there's miscellaneous, that's what I call it, the MISC, advanced, basic, arrows, flowcharts, entity relation, you have external. So there are more things you can do. Okay, there's also more shapes which you have to click and then you get them. So these are functionality that will help you get started with creating your workflows. All right. So I'll just focus on the general and then you can explore later. So on the general, you have some shapes which are commonly used. So one of them is the rectangle. So if let's say I want to start with creating a rectangle. So I click the rectangle. This will create or insert the shape for me. So in this shape, I can add a text. So let's just say mapping. And then this is the text. All right. Now, whenever you click a shape and it's in the workspace, this workspace, on the right hand side, you have options. So there is style, text array. So these are things you will use to fine tune or properly format your shape. Now, I have a text. Okay. If I click this shape here, we have style. So this style lets me focus on modifying the fill, the line. Now, if I just highlight the text, it gives me an option to modify or manipulate the text. Now I'll start with the text. So this text here, mapping, if it's very small, you can increase the font size. So on this side here, there's the font size. So you can use this up and arrow buttons to increase or decrease the font size. You can also manually type. So that will even be faster. So let's just say 27. If I type 27, I get this increase, okay, in the font size. You can also change the font style. So style here, heading 1, heading 2, etc. So this is something you need to decide. I will just leave it unchanged. All right. You can also change the font type. So we have Times New Roman and vertical. You can just choose any, the one which suits your needs. That's what you do. When you come here, the font color tool, you can change to a different color. Default is black, change to red, blue, etc. And then once you select any color, whether from this side or from this side or from this side, you see that a color code will be given. So that means next time you don't need to search for a color, you can just enter the same code in the box and then you have the color shown to you. All right, so now let's just choose any color. We apply. I'll just do it again. So once you choose the color, you apply, and then you will see that the color has changed. All right, I will just use a different color, which is more conspicuous. I will just change it here. So font color, let's just say blue, a blue color, a blue base color. Apply, I get it here. Okay, so that's for the color. All right. So once you have the color, the text itself, you can whether center or right or left. It depends on what you want to do or justify anything. So this allows you to do those modifications. Now, if let's say you want to undo the change, on the left hand side there is the undo. You can just click undo, or you can use the Ctrl Z on your keyboard to also undo the changes that you have made. So this is the beauty of using this online tool. Again, with the shape itself, when you click the shape itself, instead of highlighting the text, you have options that allow you to manipulate the shape itself. So we have style. If I click this, it changes the fill type for me. Okay. If you still want to customize the fill type, which is the color used to fill the shape, you can just come here, click, and then you can now use the color of your choice instead of the default options given. So I can click this, let's use any color, and voila, I have it here. So this is for the color that is used to fill the shape. Now, if you want to also change the line color, now I think I won't do it. I'll just come here. If you want to change the line color, all right, again, there's a line color here. You can just click and then change it to any color of your choice. So that one, you have to use the appropriate color. I'll just apply and get another color. Now, if the line itself, you want to increase the thickness, okay, maybe because of view, you want to make it more conspicuous. When you come to this section here, this one here, just below the color, where you select the color, you can increase the thickness here, and you see what happens here. You see that it becomes thicker and then thicker. That's for the shape. I'll just decrease it a bit. And then let's also look at another thing. So this is a straight line. The line type, you can make it dash. So there are several types here that you can choose from. Let's use this for example. If I do this, this is what I get. Now I can just decrease the thickness and then see what happens. So that's what you get. All right, that's for the shape. Again, for the shape itself, you can also increase opacity or decrease it. Now it's 100%. All right. Now let me just change the line type back to the original one, and let's insert another shape right here. Okay. We will come back to the opacity another time. Now, if I have these two, the one which is dominant or which is giving priority of viewing is the newer or the latest shape. So if I put both shapes on to each other, okay, you will see that the newer one, okay, covers the older one. So this behavior in some cases may be good, in some cases not. So if let's say you want the newer one to maintain its dominance, I'm using this word loosely here for this presentation, then you can just maintain the settings. However, if you want this one to be the one which is giving priority in terms of view when the two of them are superimposed, then you can just send the newer one to back. When you right click it, you go to back. I'll just show you here. When you right click and you go to back, you will see that the older one now comes in front. So that means that when the two of them are superimposed on each other, the older one is the one who should be given priority of viewing. Its content will be displayed, will be made available. That's what it is. All right. Now, if you don't want this behavior and you want both of them to be displayed, I will just undo this. If you want both of them to be displayed, sure, that can also be done. So in that case, you can just right click the newer one, which is this one here. You can just right click and then undo, or let's say disable the fill color totally. So if I change the fill color, you will see that both of them are being displayed. You can also do the same for the other one, and then that'll be fine. So this is for the colors. All right, the fill color. Now I want to bring the fill back. I want to make this one the dominant one. I'll bring it to front, and I'm going to do something here. When we come to opacity, Okay, first of all, let me even fill it first. And you can see that here now, the lines, the right line, the rectangle, the one behind, okay, its right lines are not shown because this one is taking priority. This one is in the front. Now, if I change the one here, the mapping rectangle to, if I change its opacity, you realize it becomes transparent. That's what the opacity does. All right. Now, if the lesser the opacity, the more transparent it becomes, so that the shapes behind it also get seen. That's how it is. That's for transparency. So these are ways you can also use to adjust the view if you have two shapes being superimposed onto each other. Okay, so this is for the shapes. There are other things you can explore, and so that's what you need to take note here. Now I'll shift to this one, which is the one I was working on. It's also an online version. So if, let's say, you have a workflow and you want to insert an image, you can do that. You can come to File and then you go to Import From. So when you go to import From, then there are several options. You can import from Google Drive, OneDrive, etc. There are a lot of options. Now, if the image is on your machine, then you have to go to Device. So when you click on Device, you are given the option to select. Now, mine is here. I think it's this one here. Let's say this one. Yeah, this one. So if I want to import an image such as this one, I just need to locate where it is, and then I click on select. Now, the image sizes may be big, and so sometimes you'll be given the option to resize. So you have to know what to do. Just bear in mind that with the online version, if you have a larger image, then that means bandwidth will be affected. So ideally, you may want to consider the resizing or use the local version, the offline version, okay, of the software. So here I'll just resize, and then let's see what comes. So there's what comes. And once it's here, I can just decrease it. Okay, so I can do that and then try to format it properly. Now with the view itself, this view itself, you can zoom in the workspace. I can zoom in and out. So sometimes you may not necessarily need to enlarge the shapes. You can just use the zoom function to make it bigger or smaller, like what I'm doing here. So this is for the zoom function as well. Another thing we can also do is to export. So when I go to File, so again, I repeat, you go to File, you go to Export As, and then JPEG, and then you can export it. Now take notes, sometimes you may have several workflows or several shapes, so you need to select the ones that you want to export. If you want to export everything, great. If let's say you want to export some of it, like this one, you just need to highlight them. So here I'll just export the selected ones. So I go to File, I go to Export As JPEG, and then I'm given this zoom. So this allows me to also customize the resolution basically. So ideally you may want a higher resolution, so you can increase the zoom. So let's say 600, and then I go to selection only. This allows me to select just to allow me to export just the ones I have selected. So I have it like this. There are also some options here. You can experiment. You click on export, and then you are asked where to save it, and then the name you want. So I'll just give it a name. Where to, you decide where you want it saved. So when you click, there are options. All right, so what you want to do is to select one from your system. So usually the one from your system is here. After the GitLab, there's an option for which allows you to download to your own system. So here I just resetted it so that we have the default view that comes when you are downloading. So when I come here, save as on title diagram, when I come here, default is Google Drive. So if I want to download it, then I have to use download, this one here. I click on download, and then it allows me to download. So that's the option, download. So when you click on download, let's give it a name again. and I go to OK. When I go to OK, then it allocates a folder on my system that it downloads to. So by default, it goes to downloads. You can change it to another folder. So here I'm using export. So I'll just click save to save it. So once I save it, this is it. When I go to my download, the folder called export, I see it here. This is it. So once I have the image, that means I can place it in my PowerPoint slides. So I can copy and then place in my PowerPoint slides, and then I have it here. All right. So you can do that, and now you have some cool workflows that you can use to do your presentation. Now, we should also take note that we are using the online version. You can also download and then use the offline version, like in my case. So I have the offline version which I have installed, which is here, which I use to also design my workflow. So there's a workflow that I designed for an earlier tutorial. You can check that one. It's on the machine learning work. So there's a workflow I was working on. I can still do some stuff here. I can insert, add shapes. Basically, everything you can do online, you can also do with the offline software. Okay, the offline version. So you decide which of the options you want to use. There are other things you can do here, but you will have to do the exploration and then let us have your feedback. So the software is free, by the way. So again, the link to the software is in the description box. So just use that, download, and then use that for your workflows. So that'll be all, and I'll see you next time.